Morning, it's the 3rd of December. I don't know what you can see, it's about 10 to 8 and it's barely, well, it is light, but it's very murky. But I suppose we're creeping up to the shortish day, aren't we? A few people have asked me how your tyre drains are doing this time. And, well, to say what rain we've had, we'd have had about, I don't know, quarter of an acre to half an acre wasted in this area anyway. This is the tyre drain. Let's have a look in it. Oh, it's that big bloody rock where I never got collected up, but that'll be an after harvest job. Yeah, look. Move on, dog. Yeah, we found an existing drain and teed, well, not teed into it, and bloody linked up to it with a an access point, if you want to say that, for water to go directly into the drain. And as I said, this spot here would have had half an acre damaged, but yeah, they worked really well, to be fair. Don't know, anybody else done one, or is it just me? Like a poor man's drain it is, but it really works. Couple of tyres separated by bricks, so there's a void, and backfilled with really big chalk or stone, which is very porous. What'll let moisture, what'll let water run through it, sort of thing, and go through the void. The void in the tyres, sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Don't know. But yeah, it's working, cracking, working a treat, it is. And the field of wheat it's in, it's Champion, and it was quite late drilled and sown at quite a hefty seed rate, but the growing season was very long, wasn't it? It came very mild and moist for a long while, and it's got really well established. Looking very promising, isn't it? I know it's a long time since till harvest, but I know we'll have to alter our wheel settings on our tramline settings on our drill by a couple of coulters, because we're paddling on a couple of seams of grain. We never thought about that before we started using the Vardestad. Neil, who had it before, he was on a, I don't know what sprayer he had, but I think it's a big one, and it must be set a lot bigger wheel widths than us. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, is it? Champion. In fact, all our corn looks as good, to be fair. In fact, we were looking forward to a bit of wet weather, a bit of cold weather, frosty weather, to slow things down. Because everything looks fantastic, even on Tyre. And we thought that Matt would have paddled it a bit, and it wouldn't have gone in very well. Well, it did go. It didn't go in the best, but it seems to have mellowed down, and looks fantastic. Like I keep saying though, it just feels nice under your feet. This is the same again, Champion. We only grow two varieties, Champion and Beowulf. And Champion looks a lot better than Beowulf, but when I got advice to grow Beowulf, the lad said it looks not very promising going into back end, and in spring it tills like mad. And this is Beowulf. But like I say, this is after Tatis, so a bit of water stood there. Yeah, it's always the structure's damaged after Tatis, isn't it? And it is. I don't think I have to worry about, but just don't feel as, it feels more slimy underfoot than I don't know, fibreish, if that makes any sense. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that neither. Since we've had a lot more stock on the farm though, our land, it performs totally different. The structure of the soils are totally different. Our real horrible clays are turning more loamy. Our blow-away sands, what used to blow regular, have got a lot more structure to it. It just sort of works different. It's got more fibre in it. It looks healthier land instead of just running through your fingers. And horrible land. It's had that much muck on it in the past 20 years that it's changing the structure of the land. But on the minus side, our P&K indexes are getting quite high. Where, well, at what stage does it cause lockup? And it locks other nutrients up. I don't know, but this wheat looks well and all, doesn't it? These cover crops on the SFI scheme have got nicely established as well. Consist of basically, not fancy really, not a bark mix. I put spring oats, spring barley, some vetches, that's fodder radish. There's some vetch in places, little vetch that haven't got really established. Few little bits, well there was some linseed and peas, but I think Frost will sort them out because there was a bit left from an SFI mix, a winter bird mix. Same again what we mixed up off farm. And as long as it ticks the box, money saved, because some of these seed companies are charging the earth for one thing or another, aren't they? But yeah, and this, to be fair, I think I did backpedal a little bit on cover crops and one thing or another, and min-till and direct drilling and all this bloody thing. I think you have to work your land, and I think everybody's land's different, so you can't really judge over edge what someone else is doing, because you don't know their soil type 100%. And I backpedal a little bit because I was off down the direct drilling route, and cover crops and drilling into tall dead cover crops and one thing or another. But I don't know, I think you have to work your land a bit more. But that keeps it. I definitely agree with the experts saying that keeps the soil healthier though. If that was just bare soil, it'd be a lot different to walk over. A field of another field of Beowulf, and it looks very, very good. To say what weather's chucked at it this last month, but we had a different plan of action this time. We drilled a double 24-metre headland. A couple of deer go in there, look. A couple of 24-metre headlands, because this bottom gets flooded bad as it just sort of there's 3 deer. Water runs down the hill and floods all this bottom. Anyway, we dug a trench with our trencher, what takes the surface water into like a dry dike here, and somehow it's finding its way away, and it's paid dividends, because we'd have had quite a bit of water stood down this bottom. In fact, the last few years, well, a lot of years we grow cereals here, we end up with nothing in this bottom. You know, a lot of damaged area where it's too wet. So yeah, very pleased with that. Another success. Yeah, it's just a little gripper what we've got on back of a little John Deere tractor, and it digs a trench and flails it to the side. It's a hell of a little thing for what it is. It's an Apico trencher. Got a bit done to our cattle race, but bloody hell, it's been windy enough today for welding, so it hasn't been easy really. And these are some second-hand gates what we had round back with galvanising on them, so it always spits and farts, but strong enough, but and a little bit of paint on them, it'd be right. But yeah, solid side at this side frame, and yon side, this is sliding. Well, I'll go to yon side. sliding door in there, you see. What we have to, I'm going to build, that's my next job. Oh, no, next job is hang that gate there. They're going to be solid though. We're going to put some, we're going to put galv sheet on them. And then the rest of it is going to be not as tall, but we've put it this as tall because it won't bother our present vet because Chavy's only short. But if we get a tall vet, you know, 6'7", he don't want to be banging his head or her head. Oh, it'd be a rum-hard woman at 6'7", wouldn't it? Anyway, but I've knocked me off course that. Anyway, we've built it a bit taller at this end to cater for a tall person. And yeah, as I said, our sliding doors going in here, and then we're gonna build it probably as tall as that, but it stood up quite high at minutes, so it does go nearly to the floor. But we're not happy with crush really. But we've left space, we've left extra space, so if we get a better well, for what time and effort we're spending on thing, it's gonna be we're gonna get a better crush, but it'll do for now, like. So yeah, you don't realise how much time it takes though, you know, to cut, and you know, it's just time, innit? But will save us a lot of time in long run, we think. It'll be so much easier. And then we're going to build, like I said, about a dozen gates so we can pen an area probably, it'd be nice to have an area as big as this shed, you know, so you could put a couple of tumbrels and get 20 cattle in for either loading up, you know, tumbrels to feed them, to entice them in, and then either run them through into trailer even. So yeah, but as I say, it takes a lot of time. And then we've sourced 2 rams on a box tippler. We're gonna that's last job. I'm gonna rig the hydraulics up. This axle came off a cultivator. Started off its life as a Tasker tillage train. I think they still make equipment now, we aren't sure. And I converted it to like a one-pass thing when we had a big articulated John Deere. And to be fair, it didn't have the big articulated John Deere looked the part, but it didn't have the horsepower to pull itself about. I think it weighed alone about 11 ton. And about time we got this buried to hilt, it was boss of it, to be honest, but it made a beautiful job. Our Ollie says we ought to put it behind New Holland before we butchered her up, but it did make a good job. It consists of shakerator legs up front. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there were 7 shakerator legs, and then there was some pigtail tines, like spring tines, and then there was these springtail tines at back. But I chopped the tines off and I put paddles on, and that made a beautiful job of finishing. But it just took that much pulling for what horsepower we had. I built it about 20 years ago, and we used it for quite a lot of years. The Magnum could pull it on sand, but as soon as you got too heavy, it was dead. But the big John Deere could, it pulled. In fact, there's a video on it. John Deere 8440, and there's Johnny working in that field there, and it just gives you an idea of what it did. I'll put it in. You just put it on YouTube. It was one of my first videos. Yeah, John Deere 8440. Yeah, and that was a project. We did it for a few years. I mean, I've done all sorts of stuff like this, and some of it's been. My first project was when I was 16, a pickup top on a Peugeot pickup to take some sheep to market, and it's still down at Nettles as well. And then I made some fold-up rollers because my dad won't buy a set of fold-up rollers. and we used to carry a set of gang rollers on trailers, you know, being spread out, and have to take a loader to take them off, or even go roll with a loader tractor so you could take them off your trailer and then do your rolling and then load them back up. It was a right ball ache. Anyway, I set about building a set, and yeah, 6 metre wide, and they did us years, and they made a fantastic job as well. Yeah, and then we superseded them with a set of 8.3 hydraulic foals, and they were bought and they went to Ireland, believe it or not, the ones I made. So yeah, very guilty of most of the projects work actually, but it'd be nice to afford new. But we've been trying to work out, I'm going to ask Chris anyway, the one we used for the TB test, how much would it be? We're guessing at 17 to 20 grand, something like that. Well, I'll cobble this together for my time, and a lot of, and maybe 500 quid worth of steel, and a crush what was £400 at a sale, which it'll probably still worth £400 when I cash it in after I get a better one. Yeah, but a lot of time. God, our yard's wet. It's just like shitting everywhere. It'd be lovely to have a concrete yard, wouldn't it? For last job at night. Go around these girls before going for my tea. Then we're off to see hey up, girl. Hey up, big girl. Come on. Oh, bloody no mask, bloody thing. Things are starting to alter. They're just starting to bloom a bit. There's a bit of bag showing. Am I dazzling you? There's a bit of bag showing on a few. I think when the date comes in a fortnight's time, we're going to be busy. We're definitely going to have a few calves knocking about with Christmas. Why are you standing so back? God, Lacey, you'd think she was prolapsing, but as soon as Lacey sits down, she starts pushing her back end out, and she's always been like that. Only when she's due to calve, but yeah, that girl there, she's really showing her bag, and I think she'll be our first one. But I still think at least 10 days off. Last year, this girl was first. This girl with little arms. This is the girl what prolapsed, so keeping a close eye on her. Right. Off to watch Janet Street Porter at our local arts centre. She's doing a bit of a talk or whatever. Yeah, Nikki got tickets. That's where we're going tonight. I can even squeeze a couple of pints in. So right, from a Rufford farm in East Yorkshire, bye for now.